Next guest. This young woman is a distinguished graduate of East Bridgewater High School class of 2008. She sat right where you were sitting at one time and had the same world ahead of her. The same enthusiasm and the same hopes, the same dreams. She went on to Bentley, attended Bentley College, graduated from there, and began her lifelong occupation. And as soon as she did, that journey, that lifelong journey was derailed. She faced an incredible medical crisis and challenge. But the thing she learned here in East Bridgewater, the things that she was nurtured by here in East Bridgewater, allows her to be here with us today and to speak to you. As you get older, mortality becomes much more of a factor in your life. And you begin to appreciate every single day. And this young woman will share with her what you need to do when you face adversity, because it's going to happen in some way, shape, or form. We all know that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Meaghan O'Brien.
Good afternoon, class of 2014, friends and family of the graduate, Superintendent Moretti, Principal Vieira, and faculty. I am so honored to be here today and to share this very special day with you all. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. Back in January, when I was asked to deliver this commencement speech, I was so excited and immediately accepted. As time went on, I started to worry that I was unworthy of such an honor. I started to worry about what I would say. I started to worry about what your families and former teachers would think about having someone so young tasked with leaving a lasting impression on you as you start the next chapter in your lives. But then I realized I'm not here for your families, your former teachers, or even for myself. I am here today to share with you what I have learned in my life and hopefully leave you with a message that you can carry on in yours. As a 23-year-old and someone who apparently still looks young enough to get carded for R-rated movies, you are probably wondering what I could possibly have to share with you when I was just in your shoes 6 years ago. Now, 6 years may not seem like a very long time, but to put things in perspective for you, I didn't have Snapchat, Instagram, or Twitter when I was a high school student. After I graduated from EB, I had a pretty standard few years. I went to a great college, got a world-class education, waitressed for shopping money, and lived with my best friend. 8 months after I graduated from college, however, things took a drastic turn, and I survived a stroke in January of 2012 while in a spinning class at the Y, rendering the entire left side of my body paralyzed. You know those nightmares you have when you can't move and you try to yell for help but nothing comes out? That's what happened to me, except I didn't get to wake up. Within a matter of seconds, my entire life changed. I could no longer walk, get out of bed, use my left arm for anything, or even sit up by myself. I became completely dependent on others for everything in a matter of seconds. After countless hours of testing and rehabilitation, and an overwhelming, amazing amount of support from my medical team, my family, my friends, members of our community of East Bridgewater, and even complete strangers, I was able to get my life back. I don't even want to think about where I would be today without all of these amazing people, many of who were in the audience today. It took the better part of a year, but I went from being bound to a wheelchair to returning to work full-time and driving myself again. The doctors were never able to pinpoint why this happened to me, and that's been a hard pill for me and the people who care about me to swallow. But we have accepted it and are firm believers that this happened to me for a reason. Some people would look at this as a bad luck situation, and while having a stroke at 22 was very unlucky and unfortunate, I consider myself the luckiest unlucky girl in the world. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've said this is the best day of my life since the day of my stroke. And for things as simple as the first time I was able to wear regular shoes again or tie my laces by myself. I don't look back at the past year and a half and focus on the negatives of the situation. I choose to make the best of it and accept this challenge that has been handed to me. I could easily think back on being in the hospital and remember all the needles, struggles, and having to sleep alone in what felt like a creepy nursing home. But instead, I most remember my brothers, Brendan and Timmy, holding my hand until I fell asleep every night and leaving me notes to wake up to in the morning. I remember my dad being there first thing every morning to have breakfast with me. I remember my mom coming in every afternoon after work, bringing whatever ridiculous foods I wanted to have that day, completely disregarding the rules for visiting hours. I remember nightly visits and phone calls from my aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. I remember incoming cards, tweets, and messages from people I barely knew. I remember the overwhelming joy I have felt every time I have reached a new milestone. Now, don't get me wrong, I have had my fair share of bad days where I've broken down and questioned why this had to happen to me. But at the end of the day, it is remarkable to look at how far I have come, and my family and friends have never let me forget that. Since my stroke, I have realized how much there is in my life to be thankful for, how quickly things can change, and how important it is to not take life for granted. I try to seize every opportunity that comes my way, from skydiving to standing before you today. I never stopped believing in myself or let this change in my life hold me back from what I wanted to do. I have set many goals for myself since the day this happened, goals that I have surpassed and goals that I have yet to reach. But I am okay with that, because having something to work towards is what has gotten me through my toughest days, and I am so much further from where I started, and nothing will ever change that. The day my family was told I had survived a stroke, the doctor also told them I would never do anything normally again. But it looks like I'm giving a graduation speech pretty normally right now. That doctor was right. I would never do anything normally again. I would do it better, and I would appreciate it more. When you've been sick, you see everything differently, and you understand how precious life is. You realize that you can't control the past, the future, or even the present, and you understand the importance of enjoying things in the moment. I wish I could have realized this without going through this crazy ordeal, and that is what I hope I can have you learn from hearing my story. Never stop believing in yourselves or your dreams, because at the end of the day, the only person you have to answer to is yourself. And the only person you should try to be better than is the person who you were yesterday. Set goals for yourself and understand that it is okay if you do not reach them. You might not be able to achieve everything you set out to do, but you can most certainly try your hardest and enjoy the journey. You see, bad things happen to us every single day, but it's how we let these things affect us that shapes the people we become. It is very easy to look back at the past and focus on the negatives, but we have the power to make the best of our bad situations. Our lives are a story, and we can choose how we tell it and how we perceive it. Congratulations, EBHS Class of 2014. Now go write your own story. Enjoy every chapter along the way, and don't let obstacles stop you from reaching your happy ending.